This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
Yes, indeed, you are on Cruise Control, and so are we. We are Les Jackson and Fred Staub over there. This is Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. And as usual, there's no shortage of automotive industry things we're going to talk about today, and we're going to have a guest.
Yeah, so there's a lot to get to, Les Jackson, and Mercedes has plans for AMG electric performance models. I like the idea. I don't see anything wrong with it. How about you?
No, not at all. Performance is performance.
Yep.
No matter what's performing, as long as you get it.
Or who's performing. Yeah.
That's right. And speaking of performance, over in the collectible region, the Dodge Durango Hellcat is sold out, but you can still have a chance to buy a V-Series Cadillac Blackwing.
A lot of
go to your local
low-volume
Cadillac
custom
dealer
cars,
give him
custom
money.
vehicles. Yeah, give them a lot of money, probably. We'll talk about that. And Elon Musk, are you a little bit worried about this? GM Super Cruise semi-self-driving system could become Hypercruise, which means it will be much more capable. We'll take a look into the future, Les, with your See the Future goggles.
The future is closer than you might think.
The future is now.
In that mirror.
Yeah.
And Volkswagen ends production of the Golf models headed for North America.
Yeah, that's not to say the new GTI and R32, they're coming to the U.S., but they're going to be built in Germany. But these vehicles that are leaving the market are going to be available for a year. They could be great commuter vehicles. We'll tell you all about that.
Absolutely. And talking tech. Every show we try to do a little talking tech. This time, Chrysler and Jeep are getting personal with Amazon's Alexa. You know, Alexa, please tell this officer not to give me a ticket.
Yes, and the new Jeep Grand Cherokee gains a row of seats, becomes a 3-row vehicle called the L, and plenty of luxury and tech. We needed someone to run it all down for us, so Jim Morrison, the head of the Jeep brand, will join us a little bit later on Cruise Control. All that and more when we get rolling on this edition of Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. Go over to our Facebook page. You can check out the live feed and more. It's all there, cruisecontrolradio.com. Electric performance cars, less AMG editions. I think they're coming. We're going to talk about that after the break. I, for one, pretty excited about it. Doesn't mean electric cars don't mean to be a little roller skate with no personality. So we'll talk about that when we come back.
When you're in a powerful electric car, the acceleration is, let's say, you'll really notice it.
We'll be right back. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at that Mercedes vehicle. It's pretty cool looking. Of course, it is a crossover, and it's called the EQA. This is going to be the compact crossover that's going to take on the Model Y, the Tesla Model Y. This one features operable doors, windshield wipers that work, and bumpers that stay on,
and paint,
and paint, things like that. A display that will work probably for the next 30, 40 years. And I think AMG versions of this, you know, you don't have to get all bleak like, oh my gosh, we're losing the internal combustion engine. There won't be any performance anymore. There's going to be a lot of performance, and who knows what's coming up. And
That's
Uh,
right.
with the acceleration of electric cars, Les, you might need an oxygen bottle. Not you. I'm not saying you. I'm saying
Exactly.
people might need, because of the acceleration, they are going to really be impressed with it. Let's just say there's no like pulling onto a highway and the thing's got a downshift and all that. There's none of that. It just happens. And that's
It's
that's what's really good.
some of these are like being sitting in a large slingshot. And
Hence my oxygen mask
yeah,
needs. Yeah.
it's this is the future of performance. You can't do this with internal combustion engines and you know positraction axles and all that. You just have to wait for that engine, even though it's quick. That engine has to get up to revs and create torque at higher RPM.
Yeah. I think the one thing we'll all have to get used to is my favorite part of cars is the sound. So they certainly are going to sound different. But I think they'll work on that as well.
Well, having grown up for many, many, many years with automobiles,
You've grown up? I didn't know that.
well, there are those who would disagree with that, but way back when I was a kid, cars were basically low rev, blub 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 as they drove along.
Blub blub blub. Yep.
And then in the 60s, you started getting the performance side of things with throaty exhaust. Now we have
in 5.
Here we go. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We are going to look at the performance future, Les Jackson.
Yes,
and
indeed.
Mercedes this week revealed a vehicle they call the EQA, and that is a crossover. No amazing idea there.
It would only be amazing if it wasn't a crossover.
Yeah. If they said we're doing a 4-door sedan, or better yet, a 2-door sedan, and it's called the EQA, is going to take on. It is completely electric powered. It's going to take on the Model Y of the Tesla brand, and there's some talk about AMG versions of electric vehicles. Would they happen? And Mercedes is saying yes, although the details are not clear at this yet. Daimler's R&D chief, Marcus Schaefer, said that the future EQ badged EVs will indeed be offered with AMG enhanced versions. And I think this is a good idea. I think they can certainly enhance them. Maybe it's a bigger motor. Maybe it's a different suspension tuning. Certainly wheels and looks can be changed, and ride heights and things like that. What do you think? What are some of the other things they could do to enhance an electric car and give it that AMG special flair?
I would say that they could probably put motors at both ends, high performance electric motors. Probably, I think we'll see. It won't be long before we see 1,000 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
Like a I hate, not exactly accurate, but poor man's Bugatti Veyron.
Okay.
Or at least a not quite as wealthy man's Bugatti Veyron. Yeah, there's so much you could do with electric motors. And of course, the bigger the motor, the more current it can draw, bigger batteries.
The other thing is horsepower numbers are just going to go off the charts, aren't they? 1,000 horsepower may become a common thing.
I think it will, because it's a matter of what do you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's very easy now. Probably, I think I think what we will probably see is reduced range on these performance models, with just more performance, more
Right.
acceleration, and it's kind of interesting that that's sort of the way performance cars are, right? They burn more gas.
Well, except with the electric one, for instance, you could have it for regular driving, just the front motor
Mm-hmm.
running. But when you want to accelerate hard, you cut in both motors.
Yeah, yeah. Exciting times. I think,
Hmm.
while it's going to be a big change for some of us old gearheads, we will certainly embrace the electric future. At least I do. And that's not to say we won't have the internal combustion engine vehicles around for a while. Yet, probably for the foreseeable future, you'll be able to drive an internal combustion engine. Just might not get new vehicles with that. I would say in the next 10 years or so, probably it will be very rare for a internal combustion
Yeah,
vehicle to be built as a new vehicle. Would you say
I
that's
think you're
right?
right.
Yeah, yeah. You're listening to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. Thanks for being with us. Instant collectibles. We always like to run the gamut here. So if you were interested in buying a Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat, well, the 2021 production allocation has been filled, Les Jackson. Is going to be the most powerful SUV ever. 710 horsepower, 645 pound-feet of torque. Going through that Torque Flight 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 seconds of 3.5 seconds, quarter-mile speed of 11.5 seconds, and a top speed of 180 miles an hour, and best-in-class towing.
Wow.
Can I tow a boat at 180 miles an hour? You know somebody's going to try to do that.
I certainly hope they don't.
The wheel bearings on the boat trailer will be glowing bright red.
I know somebody who would try that if we had a Durango.
Well, that future classic may no longer be available, but when we come back, we'll tell you about how you can order another future classic on Cruise Control Radio. And goodbye to the Volkswagen Golf. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staub and Les Jackson. We'll be right back. Yeah, I wonder what the record is for that, the fastest trailer towing. I believe someone did something like that at Bonneville, where they towed a vehicle or a travel trailer at a very high rate of speed. But think about those wheel bearings. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I think about
to do
the
that.
oscillation. The wheel bear. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't do that with a regular trailer wheel.
No, I don't know what you would need. I guess you need something more
automotive.
It does sound
Jeremy
like something
Clarkson would.
Didn't he drop trailers on the early Top Gears? He dropped trailers, the caravans. They call them caravans, travel trailers.
Destroyed a bunch.
Yeah. So there you have it. What was the collectible car that he destroyed and everyone got upset? He kept doing it.
Oh, the Austin Marina.
Yeah. And he kept doing it to annoy.
Kept dropping pianos.
Oh boy. Well, yeah, this Super Cruise becoming Hypercruise, we don't know much about that. That's the GM. Super Cruise, of course, is the GM autonomous driving system. We don't know much about this, but they have copyrighted that name. And I guess what would they be at? A level what?
Hypercruise would be level 4.
So what is Super Cruise? Level 3?
Level 3.
So
that's all anybody's at right now.
No matter
because you say it's autonomous, it really isn't.
Yeah. So Hey, we're glad you're along with us, our Facebook Live folks, and we're going to have more of the show coming up. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, where you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you are checking us out at Facebook Live, give us a like. We appreciate that. Some people have done that already. We appreciate all the folks that have given us likes. Let's see. Yeah, we got a bunch of them, and that is cool. We appreciate that. Yeah, we're going to be coming back to the show in about 30 seconds or so. And when we come back, let's talk about that Cadillac Blackwing V Series.
Yeah.
Confusing named vehicle. Blackwing, of course, was an engine with the turbocharger in the V of the V8 engine, but now it represents kind of the name of high-end series performance vehicles. So,
5.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. Les and Fred, we are rolling through a lot of details. We want to bring you up to speed on what's happening over at Cadillac now.
yeah.
Which is, you're seeing a lot of Cadillac commercials.
Well,
But
I want to know if you have your pen and your check ready, Les. That's what I want to know.
I was going to borrow some money from you.
Oh, for a V Series black
For
wing?
a Blackwing, which you can, well, you could take out an equity loan on your house.
Do we know? I don't even think we know how much they cost.
We don't, but I'm very confident we're at the 6-figure.
Wow. Okay. So it'll be either a CT4V Blackwing, or which I believe has the twin turbocharged V6 in it, or the CT5V Blackwing, which I believe has the 6.2 liter V8
Right.
in it. These are they're going to be revealed, by the way, in a live stream event, which has become the norm for the automotive industry. They're going to be revealed on February 1st, and you're going to put down $1,000, which is a refundable reservation.
Right.
Which I think that idea of the $1,000 reservation all started with Tesla. That was the big thing that they did, right?
They did, although the companies have had these. Like, it used to be $250 to
Mm-hmm.
put in an order,
Mm-hmm.
and it was always refundable.
Included in the purchase of the CT4V Blackwing or CT5V Blackwing will be a 2-day experience at Cadillac's V Series Academy at the
Excellent.
Spring Mountain Motor Resort and Country Club in Pahrump, Nevada.
Pahrump, Nevada. That's one of those odd named cities.
Yes. So there you have it. Also good to see people getting training on these vehicles and learning how to drive them correctly. So I bet they will sell out all of these reservations, 250 of each car, CT4V and CT5V.
Yeah.
So there you have it. That's a classic. But if you want to get your hands on another classic that might be a little bit more affordable, the 2021 model year Golf is the last year we'll see the VW's base model Golf sold in the U.S., at least for now. That's the way it looks. And it's a pretty good deal, frankly. They will be bringing the new vehicle in next fall, but it will only be a GTI or an R32, so only performance variants. And you know how I feel about the GTI. I love the GTI.
They're terrific.
Golf.
And they're everyday performance cars.
Everyday performance cars. The ones I've had from the press fleet, you can take them to Home Depot. I took them to the grocery store and loaded them up. And my wife loves the plaid seats, so that's probably one of the only cars I would get with the plaid seats. That's says GTI.
Here's
It
the
says
golf
golf
seat
pants.
right here. Yeah.
It says golf pants. Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah.
But I do like it. I do like that. So anyway, if you want to get your hands on one of these, we'll call them standard grade golfs. You can get them pretty cheaply. You can get a manual with 147 horsepower, 108 84 pound-foot of torque cars. You can get the manual for $24,190 and an automatic for $24,190 for the manual and $24,990 for the automatic, including the $995 destination charge. That's a pretty good deal for a good commuter car.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, 1.4 turbocharged 4-cylinder. These will be the last ones built for the North American market at the Mexico plant, which has been building them for a long time. They used to build the GTIs, every variant down there.
Yeah, 47 years.
Yeah, so now the production will be switching for the GTI and the R32 back to Germany. And but if you're looking for a inexpensive, fun car, the base model Golfs are fun to drive too. I always say I feel like I'm in Europe when I drive one of those. So that's where you can go to get them, and you'll have enough. They feel for the year, so grab one. Great commuter car, right?
Oh, they're terrific. Everybody that has a Golf loves it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk a little tech, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, we can do that.
Well, let's do that. Chrysler and Jeep are going to be getting a powerful new Alexa feature. It's called the Alexa Custom Assistant. Of course, Amazon and is Alexa. That's where she lives on Amazon servers, I guess. And it is the new AI-based technology, Alexa. They will be able to customize this. So you'll be able to say custom things or custom wake-up phrases that will relate to Chrysler or Jeep. And the idea is if you have Alexa devices or you're using Alexa on your phone and you're also using these different phrases, wake-up phrases, you don't want to be doing that in your car and getting everything confused and who are you talking to, your car or your phone. And this is one of the reasons why Chrysler and Jeep will be the first to customize this. I'm also looking forward to some more of the AI features where things like navigation, it knows the way you want to go or knows, hey, typically on Wednesdays you do this and that type of thing. I'm kind of looking forward to that, or will that be spooky for you?
Well, I
get a little too personal.
It's great.
The line.
Well, not really. I mean, I personally don't like having to address the device Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like that. I can't explain why. But it's incredibly handy, and if you can talk to the car, that's less distraction than turning knobs and doing other things. So
it does work a lot better than it used to.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Remember when they first came out? It would just come up with all kinds of crazy.
Oh, it was
things.
It was a festival of surprises.
Yes. Call home.
Yeah.
Plotting course to Nome, Alaska.
That's right.
And
tilt seat back. Correct. Setting heat to 400.
Broiler turned on. Yeah. It's true. It's true. So they've gotten a lot better. And I think the fact that you can customize it also makes it special. It's pretty cool. When we come back after the break, that's coming up in a couple of minutes, we are going to have Jim Morrison, the head of the Jeep brand, on the radio show. He's got so much to talk about, Les. I think we should just give him a chair at the Cruise Control radio
desk. That's right. He's on several times a year with us. There's just so much going on.
So much going on. This time around, we're going to talk about the Grand Cherokee, specifically the Grand Cherokee L. which is the 3-row version of the Grand Cherokee. And this is built on an all-new architecture. There's a lot of new technology, so he's going to discuss that and bring us up to date on that. The current 2-row will stick around for this year on the old architecture and then convert over. He'll tell us a little bit more about that
That's
when
right.
he arrives.
And we'll refer to those as Stellantis products.
Stellantis, the big news. Stellantis deal, the merger has officially gone through and has officially activated. Even the press sites that we go to, the FCA sites are no longer active, or they will not be updated. So that's something to get used to. But hey, Jim will join us right after the break on Cruise Control Radio, so stay tuned. We are just getting started. Plenty more to go on Cruise Control. Don't forget, check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, or you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. All there, cruisecontrolradio.com. Fred Les, we'll be right back. All right, and we're looking for Jim. We always appreciate you coming on. This is the first time to see you live, which is really good.
That's right. Once he gets over the shock of seeing us.
That is, yeah. We are live on Facebook right now, so we hope all the hashtag Jeep Life and other folks are watching, and we appreciate you coming on. It's so much for you to talk about at Jeep. We were just saying, we need to just have you on every week, basically.
For the rest of this year, I think that probably holds. I think there's so much going on. We're actually launching like 5 or 6 vehicles this year, so
wow.
lot going on.
We'll just have you every week. Just say, hey, just over to Jim. What's new? What's new at Jeep?
I was gonna get my horse and have a little snack. Remember last time we were
Nemo?
Talking?
Yeah.
Nemo. You're right. He was a star.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson, and we have been joined by Jim Morrison, head of the Jeep brand. We are glad to have him with us. And Jim, there's just so much going on at Jeep. It seems like we have you on every week, which is fine. And we appreciate it because there's a lot to talk about, isn't there?
Yeah, we've been busy at Jeep. And, it seems like just yesterday we were talking about, the new Wrangler Rubicon 392 with that, and then the 4xe Wrangler. And now we're talking about the new Grand Cherokee. So there's a lot of really cool stuff happening at Jeep right now.
Well, certainly an important new vehicle for the Jeep lineup, Grand Cherokee. It's got its legion of followers. They love it. And we need you to kind of explain how this is going to roll out. First, we have the brand new Grand Cherokee L, which is a new architecture vehicle, right?
Yes. The all new Grand Cherokee will have 2 forms. There you got it. A picture of that. That was actually shot just a couple of weeks ago up here in the woods at our Chelsea Proving Grounds. So doing what it likes to do is drive off road, play in the snow. We were lucky that God sent a little bit of snow our way, and the guys were right out there. This was actually just like 2 days before we launched the Grand Cherokee,
wow.
Live. So we were lucky to get some snow, but that's real world here in Michigan, doing what it does best. And so that's the 3-row or the L version of the new Grand Cherokee. You can see there, it's got a little bit of extra length and a 3rd row. So you can put 6 or 7 passengers in a Grand Cherokee for the first time.
That's amazing.
How much longer is it?
About a foot.
Okay. Well, that's
about a foot.
Substantial.
Yeah.
So that means that the rear, the 3rd row is really usable. I mean, I remember when 3rd row seats came out initially, a lot of manufacturers just took their regular 2-row and threw a 3rd row in there, which meant that nobody had any room for their legs. It was more like a jump seat. But this looks great, and you've actually lengthened the wheelbase, which means it's a usable row, isn't it?
It is. And the thing that we've done is 2nd row is very important for our Grand Cherokee customers too. So we've left Grand Cherokee's 2nd row best in class, and then we've added to it the 3rd row, And we've got a lot of things we packaged really nicely with it. So we've got standard buckets in the second row, so you can actually just walk through the middle and get to the back.
Nice.
Or you can put a splits in the middle, and it splits and folds as well. But they're really easy to get into, and we know that it needed to be a Jeep first, so it needed to be very capable. You can see that it is, but it needed to be very good for people. If you want to have your family outing, or able to get your dogs in the back or whatever. It's got all of the ease of use that you'd expect in a 3-row. You don't have to be a Gumby to get in the back. It's a very usable third row. You don't have, no gymnastics. Just walk through the middle, or tip and slide it ahead, and it's you're easily into the back.
I like that.
Yeah.
Rear
Well,
seat.
that's right. Because typically, when we've been at events in the past with as Fred was talking about, where the models have just been kind of a third row has been thrown in it, because Fred and I usually aren't as tall as the other guys. We're the ones that always had to squirm back there.
Yes.
And then get car sick while somebody was driving it. By the way, this is, of course, it's a Jeep, so it's trail rated, right?
It is. That was an Overland with trail rated variant that you saw there. So it's got real tow hooks. They're usable. Skid plates. It's got air suspension as well, so you can crank it up to almost 11 inches of ground clearance.
Wow.
And it's a true Jeep. It's the most capable Grand Cherokee that we've done yet. It's got 3 4-wheel drive systems, and all of them are connected to a select train dial, so our customers can adapt the 4-wheel drive systems, and that's what they expect from us at Jeep. They need it to be the best 4-wheel drive, and this is by far. All of the 3 systems can actively transfer the torque around. So you could actually lift up the Jeep and put one wheel down, and it can actually move all of the torque to that one wheel and move it forward. So like a lot of other vehicles, they have just chassis electronics turn off the one wheel that's slipping. Well, we actually use mechanical means and electronic means to move the torque around, so that it's got enough power to push the Jeep forward.
We're talking with Jim Morrison, head of the Jeep brand. I always wonder that, Jim, you always have multiple 4x4 systems available. You have since forever, I can remember, on the Grand Cherokee.
Yes.
Why do you do that? Do your customers say, "Hey, I want these different systems"? Because it's got to be expensive to do that, to have all those systems and engineer all those things and build all those things.
Yeah, it is. And really it is an understanding of the different levels of capability that our customers are looking for. So we've got, Quadra-Track 1, and that's our base system, and it's in our Laredos and our Limiteds. And that, with the select train dial, can still actively transfer around the torque. And then we've got Quadra-Track 2, and then we've got Quadra-Track Quadra Drive 2 as well, that actually has a rear electronic locker, rear ELSD we call it. And with that, it's even more capable. So it'll like a Wrangler, you can lock up the back end and move it up, through crazy extreme off-road events if you want to. And that's standard on our Summit and our Overlands. It's available, and so we kind of stack our 4-wheel drive system so our customers can pick them where they want to. So we don't burden the entry level car with too much cost or weight. The customer doesn't want it, but then make it available for them where they need it.
Wow, cool stuff.
Man, it's amazing. There's a safety feature, by the way. Looking at your specs, you have 110 safety features.
Yes.
Wow.
Which we can't possibly list them all.
Yeah, I can't either. That's there's so many of them. But the key was, Les, is we wanted to make sure. I mean, safety is very important for our customers that have a Grand Cherokee, and they've told us that over the years. And we were always on the leading edge with that. So it's got new 360 cameras. It's got standard forward collision warning with braking. It's got this really cool night vision that brings up an alert as well.
That's very cool.
So, and it works for animals as well as people. So we're not just worried about smoking a person. If you, you can look down the road for you at night and see if there's a deer coming out of the ditch, and it will actually bring up an alert right in front of you and let you know that there's an animal in the way, which is really really nice.
And we're all animal lovers here, so that's good to hear. And then the level of quality and luxury on the inside, I have to ask you about some of these things. It has hand-wrapped quilted Palermo leather, open pore waxed walnut wood. I don't know what Palermo leather is, but I'm sure it's really nice.
Palermo, Italian?
Yeah. Yes, it's actually really the Summit, and we have a reserve package that is incredible, and we've kind of led the way with luxury in the SUV space for quite a while. If you remember, I think you and I were in an early Overland was really the most luxurious vehicle you could get. Then we included Overland Summit. I think that's the one you and I drove.
Yep.
And then more wood, more luxury, more leather, more technology, and now we've got the Summit Reserve that it just makes you feel like $1 million. You get in it and there's it smells like real leather. But it's buttery leather. They wouldn't let me call it buttery leather, so it's Palermo leather. But it's got this really cool stitching panel. It'll on the doors and on the seats, and it makes you feel like $1 million. And then if you feel the wood, it's got open pore, American walnut wood, which is really really cool. And then there's even the metal on the end where it says 1941. It's real metal. So when a customer pays that kind of money for a luxury SUV, we wanted to make sure they got the real stuff. Some of our competitors just put fake plastic in there and make it look like wood.
Fake
but
plastic, it's so 70s.
And we're authentic, so real wood, real leather, real metal, and it just makes you feel good in there. And for those people that are spending a lot of time in their SUVs, it's a nice way to celebrate it.
I never understood that. Les and I talk about this a lot on the show. I never understood where manufacturers thought it was okay to cheap out on the interior, because that's like your user interface. You're not going to stand on the hood as you're driving down the road, hopefully not. And if you're like, wow, look at how this doesn't fit, or wow, look at all this cheap plastic, or the steering wheel feels really cheap, well, you're going to have a bad experience. So that's what you see. So
it is.
Stay tuned, because we're going to have more Jim Morrison, head of the Jeep brand, with us, and we are going to talk more about the Grand Cherokee. So stay tuned to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson. We'll be right back. We are talking to Jim Morrison, the head of the Jeep brand. Jim, always a great ambassador for the Jeep brand. It's exciting. Of course, exciting week too. Stellantis, right?
Yes, yeah, a lot of good stuff going on. I started Tuesday morning with 6 o'clock meeting with our new CEO, Carlos Tavares, and really smart guy, and really looking forward to the next chapter with this. And I think lots of synergies with the two companies, and really able to continue to move forward with more strength than ever.
Yeah.
Number 5 size automaker in the world now. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
All right, here we go. I'll bring us in.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub, along with Les Jackson, and we have a good friend of the show, Jim Morrison, head of the Jeep brand, talking about Grand Cherokee L, their 3-row version of the popular vehicle. And Jim, we should clear up what's happening now is the 2-row will be the current architecture vehicle for the next, about year?
Well, the first launch of the new vehicle is the 3-row, and then we've got the 2-row, or the regular Grand Cherokee. It will come online here later this year, and we're also going to have an electric version of it as well available later this year too. So it's kind of a staggered rollout. and we want to make sure that the quality is perfect for each of them as we roll out. And we're starting with the 3-row, and then we'll have the 2-row later this year, and then we'll have the what we're calling the electric version of it, which is 4xe, before the end of the year as well.
Oh wow,
Wow.
that is cool. That's amazing.
So it's pure electric, right? Not a hybrid.
It'll be a plug-in hybrid.
Oh,
Yep.
a plug-in.
Plug-in
Okay.
hybrid, same as our Wrangler.
Same drivetrain as the Wrangler. I think we talked about this when we were talking about Wrangler. The fact that electric vehicles are ideal for off-road, aren't they?
They are. In fact, I spent a lot of time over Christmas since the last time that we talked with one of them. We have a neat off-road park called Holly Off-Road, about 5 minutes from here, and my sons and I we took the 392 and the 4xe Wranglers, and we were having a lot of fun with it. And those are kind of the two extremes. The 392 is loud and it's got crazy amounts of power, and then you come behind it with the electric Wrangler, and you can go up the exact same hill, but just it's completely quiet, whisper quiet. It's really a lot of fun. So that 4xe technology we're applying to the Grand Cherokee here later in the year as well.
You think about it, if you can get into all electric or be in that electric mode, that might open up more trails too. Some people would say, "Oh, we don't want to hear all the noise and that." So
yes,
if you have an electric vehicle, you can just sneak around there, and you're treading lightly, as they say, right?
Well, and it's an amazing fit, and it's neat because it's been a star on the trail. We've had it down the Rubicon Trail. People love listening to it and watching it, and when you can hear the power steering is the loudest thing you can hear as it's kind of moving along through the different off-road elements. It's a nice way to connect with nature for sure. And take the doors off and top off, a vehicle like that, and whether you're just driving around the streets or driving down your favorite trail, it's a unique experience that I can't wait to share with more people.
One of the things I love to do is drive on snow because it's so quiet.
Yeah.
And
it's like a big sound dampening.
Driving the electric version would just be almost like floating in a sleigh.
Yes, you wouldn't even know it. In fact, it was neat. Taking it back to Grand Cherokee for a second. I've had one to drive for a week or so, and we were lucky. Last Sunday night, it snowed, and we got 2 or 3 inches. Where I come from, that's not really a snowstorm, but here in Michigan, that's that was quite something. So I asked my son Brett. Next thing we were out driving around the new Grand Cherokee in the snow, playing with the select drain dial, putting it in second gear or putting it in snow mode, which is neat because it starts it in second gear, puts the torque split 50-50 and really makes it really easy to drive. Very confidence inspiring. And we had a blast with it. I thought we'd go for a rip, maybe, 10-15 minutes. We came back an hour later and we were just grinning from ear to ear. The nice thing is with that select train dial is you can put it over into sport mode and it'll put all the power to the rear end, and you can chuck the Jeep sideways in the snow or leave it in auto and it does whatever it needs to do. But I need to really give a tip of the hat to the engineers that have fine-tuned that 4-wheel drive system, because it's just confidence inspiring. You don't even know how slippery it is. You just get in, you drive, it's a Jeep. It'll do an incredible amount of stuff behind the scenes, but the customer doesn't care. They just know that it's the best 4-wheel drive system, and that's what we like doing with Jeep. Yeah,
that's great. I know, talking to a lot of different people that own Grand Cherokees, they always like the size of it because it's like a little bit smaller than some other similar. So how did you figure out that they wanted to go with 3 rows? And I know there's going to be some other products that will be 3-row vehicles that will be a little bit bigger down the line. But how did you figure out that they say, hey, we'd like an L version, we'd like to get that 3 rows? Were people saying, I love the Grand Cherokee, but I just need that space?
Yeah, and it was mostly about their life styles. It's very active lifestyle people that have Grand Cherokees, as you can imagine. And sometimes, they get, they go from having 1 kid or 2 kids to 3 kids, or they have, 3 kids and a dog. And the next thing you know, they need more space. And, we got a lot of feedback that said, hey, I want a Grand Cherokee. I still want a Jeep. but I need to have a 3-row for, every day because I have 3 kids or 4 kids,
Right.
or because I have 2 kids and a dog, or 2 kids, 2 dogs, need to have more space. And what I'm really happy to report is Grand Cherokee has had the highest loyalty in the segment for years. But we saw some people having to leave, and they were like, "Hey, I'd love to have a Grand Cherokee.
Right.
I want to have another one, but I have this extra space need." So listening to them, it's like, okay, but that's where, again, another tip of the hat to our engineers is we're like, okay, it's got to be a Jeep first, a 3-row vehicle second, but you got to do both perfectly. And that's what we asked them to do. And like I said, they've done a great job, easy to get in the back, and it's very capable. It's the most capable vehicle, Grand Cherokee, we've done yet. So, whether you're really taking it off road, whether you're driving it hard in the snow, or whether you just want the confidence of having the best SUV, you've got it now in a Grand Cherokee.
Isn't the buying public across the board going for larger and larger vehicles these days and in the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I think the technology that's being employed is keeping us able to make things bigger, get a little more space inside, a little more roomy, obviously, better safety. And then because the fuel economy keeps getting better and better and better with all of the technology that we've employed, it makes it really easy for them to have their cake and eat it too. But you're right, America keeps asking for bigger stuff.
That's it.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Technology-wise too, it flows into the Jeep wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I love that. I've experienced that before, and it is great because you don't have to. It's not like, oh, gee, I forgot my cable. What do I do? And everyone's charging their phone wirelessly now too.
Yeah, I have to say too that after spending some time with the Jeep, that's probably the easiest thing, because usually you fuss for the cord, you plug it in, touch the thing. Now you throw your phone into the center console, it charges, it connects. What I love using Waze, and we have a huge screen. It's a 10-inch screen, so the 10-inch screen pops up, and you have 10-inch of Waze maps. And it comes up, and it's all this, and you don't have to do anything. It's just there, and it's really easy. It saves you from plugging in, and away you go.
I have to revisit Waze. The first time I did it, I didn't get it with all the little icons and crazy. I didn't quite get it, so I have to probably revisit that myself. But and what's some of the other tech that stands out in your mind in the new Grand Cherokee L, Jim?
Well, we've got the next generation Uconnect radio, and it comes with an 8.4 or a 10-inch screen. 10-inch screen I talked about, and then there's a 10-inch display in front of you as well, which is really nice.
Really
very easy, to do. I think our Uconnect radios are award-winning for just being easy to deal with and have all the technology that you need. And then the other one is we've got a heads-up display, so it brings everything on the window right in front of you. You don't have to ever take your eyes off the road.
All right, sounds good. Jim, stay with us, and we're going to thank everyone for listening to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. Time for me to say, I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.